That they took it on really. Once more, straight off the sector. Wow.
Oh, look at the attack of Van der Poel. Now that is a brutal strike.
Talk about taking everybody by surprise. Each and every time that he's wanting to make a move, having a wheel change too. But it's no surprise that he's trying to do something off a sector. Sometimes it can be quite predictable that you make an attack on a sector, that you know that something could happen on the cobbles. But look at this. I said before, but I'll say it again. You very, very rarely see time that you saw him in the chasing seat.
The Tour de France finding out right now what it's like to ride past.
Once in service.
He just put a bottle up, Hannah, so I wonder if he's not got enough food, or he's got a mechanical, or how long has he got to another sector here, Hannah? Let's have a look. He's got about 900 metres. If the team car can get to him in this 900 metres, he's going to... Here he goes. He gets a drink just in time. Takes that drink very, very quickly.
Oh, dear me.
The world champion... Tadej Pogačar is seeing stars right now, and they're not stars of glory, they're stars of pain, and wow, that was close. I think that was a little rescue bottle of that Tadej Pogačar had. Do you remember he had it in Strade Bianche? He talked about it afterwards because he needed... This is not a harsh question on UAE, but I'm going to go back to an interview that I read a little while ago. And Art Veerhouten said, just take a little look here. Here's Van der Poel, he misses that one. He said that Pogačar rode the Tour of Flanders the first time and didn't quite have, as he stretches his back even as well. Not that he didn't respect Flanders, but
I think he's getting cramp personally,
yeah,
and that's what I thought before.
It does look that way, doesn't it? In his right leg, as he gives his right calf a shake. He's also stretched his back. Look at his face. Everything is hurting. Gives the legs a shake as well. The body doesn't feel like it feels in Milano San Remo. It feels wholly different.
Because after that sector there, he didn't take a bottle. We saw Mathieu Van der Poel attempt to take a bottle, but there was one of the team personnel, the osteopath of UAE Team Emirates, Dario, who was at the sector, but Tadej's on the left side of the road, so he's not even trying to take a bottle. So for me, cards of his old bid on.
Things are starting to turn a little bit, I feel, for Pogačar, although he's kicking the pedals over. They're not fluid like they normally are. But he's starting to get some fuel, and that's good news for the world champion right now. Things are starting to turn a little 9 kilometers an hour onto the next sector. Van der Poel just hanging 2 or 3 wheels away. What's going on here? Van der Poel quite happy just to stay as Pogačar now attacks. Another attack of the world champion. Pogačar makes his move as he starts to accelerate away. Pedersen almost crashes on that corner and takes it very, very wide. Van der Poel now has to accelerate to try and come back. And Pedersen suddenly has a problem. You're right, Hannah. Front wheel puncture for the former world champion. Pogačar now goes clear. And look at this. Suddenly, Tadej Pogačar is riding away. Now Mathieu Van der Poel has to react. Look at the speed of Pogačar, the world champion. He has turned this around in the last few kilometres.
And the worst sector for Mads Pedersen, or one of the worst sectors for Mads Pedersen to have an issue. This sector is 2.4 kilometres long. And it's happened. He's still got 1,500 metres to go until he gets to the end of the sector where he can get a front wheel change. And trying to ride on this sector with a front wheel puncture, in fact any sector, is nigh on impossible. You're losing so much speed, so much time.
Especially with this 4-star sector. Look at Van der Poel now. He left a gap and Pogačar tried to take advantage, but Van der Poel is pedalling his way back onto the wheel of the world champion. Now Pogačar here is tactically playing a masterclass because he's got rid of anyone else, and now he's only got to worry about one other bike rider, and that is the twice winner of Paris-Roubaix, Mathieu van der Poel. Stilton is there. It looks like Bissegger may well be able to. Pedersen has he had a wheel change or not? Doesn't look like it.
Looking at the way he's riding, I think perhaps they might have had someone.
Pedersen's now trying to ride his way across. Riding his way across to his teammate Mathieu van der Poel and one of his best friends, Tadej Pogačar, at the front of the race. Philipsen has had a day of chasing in Paris-Roubaix. He had a crash just before the first sector at just over 165 kilometres to go. He chased for over 30 kilometres. Pogačar is looking around at Mathieu van der Poel and realises he cannot get rid of him.
But look at that glance over the shoulder that he just did. It glanced over the shoulder, see Van der Poel was still there.
Now Hannah, about 3 kilometres, and Van der Poel doesn't want to work.
He's not going to work. He knows that his teammate Jasper Philipsen is trying to come across right now, and so this is going to play against Tadej Pogačar. The fact that Van der Poel and Philipsen will be here, now Pogačar's got a huge task on his hands, because absolutely perfect. The junction's made, Philipsen's there.
Philipsen comes up and immediately onto the wheel. So, Alps and de Koning with Mathieu van der Poel and Philipsen 1-2 in the last 2 editions of this.
On your own, however, it depends what is happening up the road. But it's not just been the last months for him, it's been so far his whole career to try and win Paris-Roubaix. You've got to try and do something, you've got to try and turn the luck into your favour, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Brennan and Van Aert. Brennan.
And he's having this kind of race and this many victories already, and we're only on the 13th of April. Easy.
And he said, oh, I thought I'd train on the big ring all winter.
Well, it's paid dividends now, hasn't it? Look at that strength. But when you take a look, you're a junior, you're an under-16, whatever you...
And a nice programme and lots of good advice, but they're not heavily funded, as Pogačar continues now on the front. The world champion is putting in a momentous showing on his debut at Paris-Roubaix. He's given everything, and he's giving all of us something to talk about for the next few weeks. He was on his last legs by the sight of things, now no longer, because look at the way he's driving things forward on this 5-star sector. The shoulders going left and right. The pedal stroke is now much more fluid than it was a few kilometres ago. And he's now starting to think that there's a possibility of outdoing Alps and de Koning and winning this bike race. Because the world champion always, coming up to this important left-hand turn, you have to take it a little bit slowly. Come back out, accelerate back up to speed. Still over 1,000 metres to go, and after this we only have one more 5-star sector to go, which is at Carrefour de l'Arbre. The smoke of the flares into the faces of the riders, the flags flying in the background. The riders' bodies will be hurting and shaking after this race, and their ears will be ringing with the sound of the fans who just shout in your ear as you make your way across the cobbles. Pogačar opens up a tiny little bit of a gap to Mathieu van der Poel, who just has to push on the pedals a little bit harder and close it. Pedersen's refusing to give in. Behind him is Van Aert with Bissegger. And now Van der Poel starts to accelerate a little bit harder. He puts in a big turn now, and Pogačar is finding it. Tadej Pogačar now starts to put Mathieu van der Poel under pressure. Van der Poel on this uphill section wants Philipsen back, but I don't know if Philipsen can find anything left in the legs.
Look at the difference in Pogačar now. It's almost back to what we're used to seeing. He always looks to the left, looks to the right, a little bit of a smile now on the face as opposed to a grimace. He's like, okay, now I feel in control. Now I feel in my world, and I'm going to take you to my world. And if you want to be here, you're going to have to fight for it.
It's Tadej's world, and we're all just living in it. 44.9 kilometres of racing to go.
Oh, he's right in the thick of the action. He's very clever tactically. He's very, very astute. He's always been up towards the front, but so have the rest of his teammates throughout the whole of Paris-Roubaix today, particularly in that early part, and making sure that they were well protected and up towards the fore for the first few sectors. Of course, it's very different to Flanders too, because you've got probably and arguably a lot more favourites. Flanders can be a very, very different race, particularly with its climbs and the amount of elevation. Now for Van der Poel, he was saying it's good to see Tadej got a minute on that group of Pedersen and Van Aert. Still riding for a podium position. He's been second the last 2 years, don't forget.
¿Qué hace? Si no tiene rivales, ¿qué tiene que hacer POGAČAR, Van der Poel ahora? Cuando salgamos de Mont-Saint-Pével.
Y ataca el propio POGAČAR en el terreno de Van der Poel.
Bueno, acelera.
Lógico,
quien se está quitando del medio.
Mira. Tadeo, que le gusta el adoquín más que a nadie.
Exactamente por dónde voy, quiero ir por delante e incluso quiero forzar, y es lo que está haciendo ahora, tratar de forzar un poquito a Mathieu Van der Poel sin conseguirlo, porque la bruta bestia en este terreno va sobrado. No olvidemos que llegados a este punto de la carrera, 38 kilómetros de la misma, aquí hay un gran favorito, pero si llegan juntos, que eso todavía está...
¡Ay, la moto!
Ahí va de POGAČAR, es que no puedo.
¡Oh! ¿Qué hace esa moto ahí?
Es que está en la carrera. ¿Qué hace esa moto ahí? Y cuando no es la moto, es
¡No!
un avería.
¡Oh!
¡Qué desgracia! Y cuidado el coche que va a taponar la llegada del resto de los corredores. Claro, los fotógrafos se tiran a cumplir su trabajo a la desesperada. Van der Poel ha visto el error, entre comillas, de POGAČAR, porque es verdad que la moto... Mira el tapón que van a preparar. Se ha parado el coche de UAE.
Vamos.
Bueno. Esto es París-Roubaix, Esto es París-Roubaix. Claro. Y esta es la razón también, la gesta de 44 años después, lograr el registro de 3 victorias consecutivas firmadas por el mítico Francesco Moser.
Ahí le ve. Ahí le ve. Bici.
Hay que cambiar de bici ahora.
No pinta bien esto. Le han arreglado su bici, coge su bici,
No, ha visto que ya no había manera de enlazar y por lo menos a ver si asegura su segunda plaza, ¿no? Porque 35 segundos parece un boquete insalvable, incluso para el pequeño príncipe.
Hoy, no sé por qué mira tanto para atrás.
Demasiado.
Sí, no sé si es que... A ver, la cámara, no para de mirar para atrás. Está buscando el coche, cuidado. Avería de... Oh, la bici que se la lleva por delante.
Cuidado que ahora sí, menos mal que la ha recogido el aficionado, pero bueno, tiene renta.
Sin bidones.
Tampoco hay... Nos viene a la imagen el recordatorio de Renko Evenepoel ahí en París, ¿no? En la Olimpiada. No, pero y además de eso...
The rider from Fiesma Leasebike is doing all he can to just say, okay, I finished third behind 3 times winner and a world champion. Vermeers has to roll in on the wheel as well. Now we see Mathieu Van der Poel, a little bit more speed, 1900 metres to go. High fives, the job's done as far as they're concerned. And I think Van der Poel will be so pleased when he finally reaches the end of this brutal day out in the saddle.
I don't think I've seen this many people gathering at this point on this course. No. This is a special edition. This is history.
Oh, this is total history. The final sector, 300 metres into the Roubaix Velodrome. Matthew's girlfriend, Jasper Philipsen's girlfriend, both there waiting. Philipsen cracked on the run-in. Now Mathieu Van der Poel will come in, and we're about to see him turn the corner into this famous velodrome. The 122nd edition of this race is coming to its conclusion, and any moment now this crowd is going to be on its feet, because they have witnessed, as Hannah said, history. They have witnessed one of the best bike races we have ever watched. we've seen the best classic bike riders and the world champion and Tour de France winner absolutely knock pieces out of each other for over 100 kilometers. The crowd get on.
78, 79 and 1980, and now Mathieu van der Poel is going to do the triple. Alpecin de Koning, take a bow.
Into the back straights for Mathieu van der Poel. What a history he has as a bike rider. Everybody is just marvelling at the way that this rider has taken this race on as he goes into the final two turns and reaches the final straights. This rider is the man who conquers the 122nd edition of Paris-Roubaix. The king of Roubaix, the triple, Mathieu van der Poel wins the 122nd Paris-Roubaix to the delight of the Roubaix crowd. The arrival now at over 80 kilometres to go. It looked like he was battered and finished and on his knees and about to capitulate. And suddenly the world champion showed just how good he is.
What a special edition. What a treat, what a ride, and what a rider. He's come here on debut to finish on the podium. Tadej Pogačar, a multiple Grand Tour winner, has graced the cobbles of Paris-Roubaix for the very first time, and on debut it's going to be a second place.
Pogačar now makes his way around this famous velodrome. Not since Greg LeMond have we seen the current winner of the Tour de France ride Paris-Roubaix. For him it's a celebration, for him he's achieved. He finishes on the podium of Paris-Roubaix in his debut and he waves to the crowd and back because they have also witnessed the most incredible bike race today. And now it's about third place. Florian Vermeers has finished on the podium before. Wout van Aert is in there. Can Van Aert put himself onto the podium? He's finished on the podium as well previously. Pedersen has finished on the podium. All three of these riders want to make sure that they say, we finished in third place on the most incredible of days. Down the back straight now. Who is going to take this? They're leaving it very, very, very late. Pedersen starts the acceleration. Vermeers goes around the top. Van Aert tries to go on the inside. Pedersen drives towards the finish line, leaves the door open. Vermeers challenges. Third place for Mads Pedersen.